Well, I reckon because I'm always stressed out. Always.
Oh.
Now today I've had an interesting interview with a gangster. Yes, a real time gangster. And when I said to him about something, he was not very pleased. And then next minute he asked me afterwards, "Where do I live?" And I said, "Lives in the southwest." He said, "Oh, I know some people who are in the UK," and I think I must have peed them off. But anyway, I doubted that I'd get it anyway. It was just something I said, and at the end of the day, I don't care. So there you go, folks. Because if he comes near me, all I've got to do is give him some raid, some fly spray, and that would take him away. Anyway, good evening, and I hope you're well. This is my last one tonight. Yes, please, yes. Anyway, um, I have got the wonderful Mark Memphis here tonight with me. Brilliant. I love this guy. You know why? Because he's always honest when he's talking. So before I carry on and bore you lot, let's go with Mark. Are you there, Mark?
Receiving you loud and clear.
How are you?
I'm all right. I'm fine. Yeah, all's good.
Good. I really want to talk about stressed out tonight.
Okay.
Let me get my notes before they. So really, I want to kind of like because sometimes we do go day by day, and we'll always get stressed out about one thing or another. You know what I mean? And I
Mm-hmm.
think sometimes it's like when you do gigs, or if I'm going out somewhere, sometimes we're thinking, oh no, if I got that, and we're all panicking, and we're all stressed out. Do you ever get stressed out?
Yeah. Every day I get stressed out about something. And it's usually little things. And more often than not, it's usually things that I look back on later on in the day or the following day, and I think, what the hell was all that about? I don't know. It's just I've spoke about it before too. Yeah, it's part of my inner core. It does take some managing, and by and large, most of the time, I do have it under control because I can talk myself round. But there's sometimes when there's no talking me round where everything's just going wrong, or the world is about to end, and nothing that anybody can do or say will convince me otherwise. So yeah, I fully understand stress and anxiety.
Mm. Here in my notes, I've got down feelings of stress are normally triggered by things that's happening in your life, which involve that, which I will come to that in a minute. But sometimes, we kind of we get so stressed out over things sometimes that we can't even manage because our mental health is either low and we don't, and we feel so down and
Mm.
something's happened to us during the day or, it could be loads of different matters. But, and the trouble is, it's kind of like dealing with the stress, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah, that's the key, really. That's the golden key to managing it and pulling yourself out of it, because there's different sorts of stress, of course. There's stress that presents itself, and then there's, in my case, more often not, like a perceived stress, if that makes sense.
Yeah,
Stressed
yeah.
about things which haven't happened, about things which probably will never happen. You've spoke there about when I go to my gigs, and I can't relax until I've set up and I know everything's working.
Mm.
Or if I've got there on time, because I used to be terrible I'd always be imagining things, like there'd be roadworks, or the sat nav wouldn't be working, or I'd be going to the wrong club. And I suppose that's like an inner sense of anxiety that I have, and then the whole thing just snowballs, and if I'm not careful, and then it just becomes this big stressful thing. And then you have other times when stress can come, and you're walking through town and your trousers fall down, or you sit down in a pub and your trousers rip, and you it's like something that has suddenly presents itself, and it's a huge stress, and your mind is thinking, how can I get out of this? The whole world's laughing at me, the whole world's looking at me, and all of these horrible negative things go into your mind. And it's the whole thing of being rational about it, really. That, like I said, the golden key is managing it.
One of my stresses were kind of like actually doing something like this, really. When I first started, I didn't really want to do it. And I thought to myself, to do this, I need to kind of like, to get over my fears. This is one thing I need to do. So that's what I did. I just kind of like gone on with it,
Yeah.
And I think I did around, I don't know, 600-700 shows now, I think. But the trouble is, it's okay kind of like getting ready for it, but you get stressed out because sometimes you're thinking, right, I've got my notes. I've got to be on time for this. I've got to be on time for that. Especially tonight, because Mondays is busiest. So it's like, it's like one after another, say. Okay, then earlier on, I had to relay one to like Los Angeles with this with this gangster was. You know what I mean? Sorry.
Was that the grey-haired guy?
Yeah.
I saw a clip. Yeah, I caught a little bit of that earlier on. Yeah, right. He was a gangster.
Yeah, he was a gangster. Yeah, and I said something to him, and he didn't like it. So.
Well, the horse's head will be in your bed by the end of the week.
Oh, thanks very much for telling me. That's 3 people now to be that.
Yeah, it's fact. It's something to get stressed about, I suppose.
Well, yeah, yeah.
Or why don't you tell yourself that nothing will happen as a result?
Well, put this way, nothing's going to stress me out about that anyway. So I'm not really worried. Because one, it's got to go and find the horse. Number 2, it's got to get into my property. And number 3, who cares?
Yeah. Well, you see, that's tying that up to what we're talking about. You've done like a little checklist there of things which you can de-stress yourself with, i.e., it doesn't know where you live, can't get into your property, and the third one was you don't care. So what? So and something like that, on a serious level, if we bring it a little closer to home, because there's unstable people out there that will threaten you and want to do you harm for just looking at them, and until you're actually presented with them in your property, what's the point of getting worried about it? Because
no, it was something that that this person was kind of like, nothing was said to him before, no one would say it to him, so I just thought I'd say it to him. And
how did it end then? Did it really kick off?
Yeah,
was it nasty?
You should watch it.
Oh well, you got me intrigued.
Yeah, it's really good. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah. So. But anyway, let's go on to something else. I've got an arm. Oh, by the way, everybody, if you go past my house and if you see the armed guard outside, Mr. Blobby with a shotgun, that's just my bodyguard.
And if you see, I'll come down. I'll sit outside your house, and if I see anything resembling a horse carrier, I'll shout, "Steve is here!"
What?
Oh,
no, it's not funny. I know.
I won't let them get you, Steve. But seriously though, I mean, at the end of the day, the chances are. I mean, he lives in America, you say?
Yeah. I know, but no. Afterwards, it was all sorted out, and I apologized to him. Everything was okay. But then, until he said, I know somebody in the UK.
Listen, that is just textbook
Yeah,
gangster talk. Is that the little chavvy gangsters that run around Bradford up here where I live? They say the same thing to you.
yeah. Oh, yeah. I'm not worried about it. I'm not worried about it. I know it's not me, but it's I've done loads of interviews and I've done worse than that with other people
Mm.
and people, But anyway, but never mind. I'm not worried about that. But the trouble is, though, see what I mean about being stressed out. Sometimes you can be
Yeah,
stressed out about smaller things like that. You know what I mean?
and that's something again. That is something that's presented itself today. It's
Yeah,
something that you weren't thinking about this morning when you woke up. It wasn't something you were thinking about this afternoon when you were having your dinner or your tea, whatever you call it down there where you live. And it's just something that's come along unexpected, and you have to deal with it, and you have to rationalize it, and you have to manage it. And you can
yeah.
go, it's all about thought processes.
Oh yeah,
Um,
yeah, yeah.
you know,
I'm
and
just glad
really,
I'm glad I got my dad here because at the moment he's digging a hole for me.
you're really worried, aren't you?
No, no. Honestly, I'm
Steve, I'm
not.
sure. I'm sure everything will be all right. I don't think.
I'm not. I'm not. I'm not really worried about it. Honestly, truthfully, I'm not. Honestly, I'm not. But the trouble is, so when you're getting stressed out over things, you can be sometimes really stressed out. Like when you go to a doctor, say, I remember I used to go to the doctors. Don't go to the doctors no more. They come to me. But when I used to go to the doctors, I sit there waiting with him. I say, bloody hell, hurry up, hurry up. And they're taking ages.
mm,
Hurry up. And one person goes out, don't they? The next minute, it's like 20 minutes later, hello, Mr. Beer, next. And I'm thinking, what have they been doing for those like 20
mm,
minutes? Right? So you're in there, and about 2 minutes, you're waiting for about 2 hours to see a doctor, and you're out in about 2 minutes, isn't you?
mm-hmm.
You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
yeah.
So, and that could stress you out. It could be loads of scenarios that could stress you out.
There's many
Uh,
scenarios that could stress you out. See, somebody jumping the queue will stress you out. Somebody in a supermarket with more than 10 items in their basket, 10 items or less self-service checkout will stress you out. It's life is very, very stressful.
oh yeah,
And then you've got all the other things. You've got a car, and all of a sudden the car breaks down, and you're informed it will probably be cheaper to buy a new car and to fix that this car's had it. And then all of a sudden your mind plunges into this massive whirlwind of how am I going to pay my mortgage this month? How am I going to feed the children this month? And if I don't have the car, I can't earn any money and all the rest of it. And you can get caught up in a whirlwind of stress.
yeah.
Yeah.
Sue Sutton's just wrote something. There you go, Mark. Can you see it?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. But trouble is, though, what you find with kind of like actual stresses is kind of like dealing with it. How do we deal with stress?
Um,
That's a toughie, isn't it?
it is. It all goes back again to that same thing when we've spoken before about dealing with that initial onslaught of depression, or dealing with that thing where you can't let things go from the past, and all those things that just turn your head into this whirling mass of madness and anxiety. I think the first thing is to ground yourself if you can. Again, easier said than done. Just take stock. Sometimes you've got to react to stress. You go into fight or flight mode, and I know that's a completely different ball game. That's something to talk about another time, perhaps. But I think the important thing is whenever there's an onslaught of anything which causes your mind to go into a sense of panic and all the rest of it, is to try as soon as possible to ground yourself and to deal with it as a process of elimination similar to what you did earlier on. A checklist. Sometimes you don't have the luxury of that, but if by and large we do. You can find yourself pondering over something for 5-10 minutes, thinking, "Oh, how am I going to sort this out, or how am I going to deal with that when it happens?" And
See,
I think that's it.
Yeah, there are some healthy ways you can deal with stress. Let's have a look at this. So,
Okay.
take care of yourself, eat healthy, exercise, get plenty of sleep, give yourself a break. If you feel stressed out, talk to others, avoid drugs and alcohol, take a break, and recognize when you need more help.
Yeah, that makes sense, especially the thing about um, getting rest or getting more sleep, because they've come for me again, Steve. Can you hear them? The sirens. It's every Monday night and I'm talking to you.
No,
No, but seriously, the thing about, like I say, getting your mind rested, because if your mind is tired, all sorts of negative things can happen, not just stress. You can become bad-tempered, you become tetchy, you can become distracted if your mind isn't rested. So those things are very, very important, I think. It's almost like laying the foundations for dealing with what today might throw at you. That aspect of it. Drink and drugs, yeah, obviously, they distort the mind, they distort your thought patterns, and they can make things seem more serious and more calamitous than what they actually are, or they might make you totally numb to what's going on when you might need to go into that fight or flight mode, I suppose. But yeah, there are things you can do to condition your mind and your body in preparation for the stresses of life, because there's going to be something that's going to come along tomorrow that's going to stress you out, me out, and whoever's watching this or listening to this. It could be, like I say, being late, taking the kids to school in the morning, school run, something delays you. Your son can't, his shoelace snaps. That's going to stress you out. Or finding out that one of them's eating all the bread. They've made toast tonight, so how am I going to make sandwiches, lads? That sort of thing. So little things are going to stress you out. And if you wake up and you've had a restful sleep and your mind isn't in a complete state of turmoil, you might deal with it better.
Oh yeah. Let's look at the symptoms, maybe physical or emotional common reactions to a stressful event. Can include disbelief, feelings of fear, shock, anger, sadness, worry, numbness or frustration, changes in appetite. I'll get a lot of that. Angry, desires and interest, um, difficult sleeping, nightmares. I get a nightmare every night when my wife. No, I don't. Physical reactions such as headaches, body pain, stomach problems, skin rashes, worsening of chronic health problems. Well, that's only a few. You know what I mean?
Yeah, they're all serious things, and they're let's not forget as well about the toll that stress will have, not just on your mind but on your body.
Yeah.
Your heart will be pounding. You could be getting out of breath. You could end up doing something totally irrational when you're trying to run around like a headless chicken and get yourself into all sorts of trouble. Yeah, it should never ever be underestimated. Shouldn't stress. And again, I think the key to it is finding some way to manage it, ground yourself again. Keep saying that, but I think that's the.
That's right. Yeah, and saying about managing it, it's I've got here. Make time to unwind. Have some time where you can kind of like spend some time on your own and unwind. Because of all the today stresses of life. Talk to others, connect with others, uh, connect with your community or faith-based organizations if you're feeling down. Avoid drugs and alcohol, and recognize when you need more help, as we said earlier.
Yeah, it's all common sense. You know, the whole thing about talking to somebody. You know, I think half the struggle is gone when you realise you're not quite on your own with something. You know, and you can get advice from somebody, or you can just sound off, and you can hear yourself talking about something, i.e., finding a horse's head in the bed at the end of the week, and you think, "What am I saying? That's absolutely ridiculous." But what you're doing, hearing yourself talk through your anxieties and your fears, and that's when you realise that they're not really as solid and as concrete as what you might be thinking. That's why therapy works and counselling works, because you're hearing yourself, and you can sometimes question the things you're saying. You hear yourself saying these words, and it's like, what the hell? So yeah.
So, how much stress do you get?
Like I say, I have it every day, and I've spoken to you before about how I used to totally catastrophize everything. The bus is late. Oh my God, the world's going to end because the bus is late, and that sets off a chain reaction of these horrible events that are going to unfold, and everyone's going to be affected, and everyone's going to, you know, and it's absolute nonsense. I mean, I sometimes get stressed. I walk out of the house, and I know I've locked my front door. I absolutely know I have. And I will go back and check. I'll walk back. You know, I'll gone 2 minutes up the road, and I'll walk back to check I've done it, because I get myself so stressed about it. And it's, you know, I think for me, it's something that's part of me. And, you know, I've sort of mentioned this before, and I can't say this for sure because I've not had any diagnosis or screening. But I think there's a very strong possibility that I have Asperger's, and that, you know, that I don't want to say condition, because condition's the wrong word, but that frame of mind, there is a huge amount, from what I understand, from what I've read and what I've been told, stress and anxiety is a massive part of that. So it may well be that I will always be stressed, and I'll always have some anxiety, but I work very, very hard to keep it at bay and to manage it. And 8 times out of 10 at the moment, I combat it and I beat it. But then there's other times when it does get to me. It's a huge part of my life is stress, really. But I think there's there's a message there. Yeah. Brain fog. Yeah, that's definitely.
Avoiding. Got another one coming
in. Okay. It does.
Yeah.
Because you're creating with doing that, you're creating a scenario and a world, and you're creating the next hour for yourself in your head, which hasn't happened yet, which probably won't ever exist, but it's very real to you, and it's awful. And it does suck the joy out of life, and it sucks, you know, it can be completely debilitating sometimes.
Do you have any methods of getting rid of stress then?
Well, apart from, like I say, trying to talk myself around in my head, try to ground myself, and, you know, and try to tell myself that, hang on a minute, come on, bus is late. There'll be another one in 5 minutes. Nobody will be bothered when you get there late. You might not even get there late. You know, that kind of thing, and talking myself around. But then there's physical things I do. A lot of sort of like self-comforting, you know, stroking my leg or drumming, you know, sort of those kind of, what's the term for it? Is it self-comforting or something that you some people rock backwards and forwards to do it. It kind of, it comforts you, and it's something you do.
Yeah, self-comforting. Yeah.
Is that what it is? Is that the term I'm looking for?
Yeah.
So, and I'll sit there and and I'll sort of like move my fingers and everything. And I might look a bit strange when I'm doing it, or I'm sitting there and my toes are going and all the rest of it. But it's I focus on that rather than what I think is unfolding. And usually when you've got something else distracting you from the stressful situation, that's when you're in a position. That's I'm talking about now when I'm in when I'm in a moment of reflection, because obviously that isn't all the time. I can't if I split my trousers in a public place, I'm not I'm not going to stand there and sort of like drum my fingers and concentrate on moving my fingers. That I'm not talking about dealing with stress in that respect, but yeah, I never ever tried to deal with stress. I don't do drugs. I like a glass of bitter now and then, and a Jack Daniels perhaps, but I would never ever consider using alcohol as a crutch or as something to cling to get me through stress.
No, if I have a drink, I always have a lager shandy.
Mm-hmm.
That's it for me. Lager shandy,
Yeah.
And that's it. I don't smoke drugs. Don't believe in it, and I'm against it.
Yeah.
Very against it.
Mm.
It should be all locked up for people who take drugs. Sorry, but that's me.
Mm.
Why take it? At the end of the day, you're killing yourself, aren't you?
Yeah, and it's not just yourself. It's the whole merry-go-round, if that's the right phrase, of the thing around drugs. It's not just yourself that you're affecting. You're affecting the people that love you and care for you. And then there's all the other things about how do people get these drugs that somebody might come and burgle your house because they need money, or they might mug you and rob you in the street because they need money for drugs. The whole thing is evil and nasty, and it destroys lives. That's a very cliched statement to make when you're talking about drugs, but sadly, it's a very, very true, and it's one of those things. I know we're straying off the beaten path here a little bit, but it's one of those things that is far-reaching. Drugs.
I don't believe in it, and I never have. So, I've had friends die of it, and my wife would tell you, she'd be the first one to tell you, don't talk to me about drugs. I hate it. I hate it.
Yeah.
But everybody's to their own. I can't make people do what they want to do. I just saw somebody at your front door. I think someone's trying to put a horse's head through your letterbox.
My letterbox.
Yeah.
That one there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I upset.
I did say that I lived at your address, by the way.
Bradford. I'm not in.
Leave the head outside.
There's some hair under the window. Give it some sweet.
Yeah, no, but the trouble is, though, I remember just kind of like going on a holiday, getting ready to go on holiday. I was only going up the road, but packing, my wife was packing and stuff. And I used to say to her, "Joe, have you got this? Have you got that?"
Yeah.
Yes. And she used to get stressed out with me because, I'll keep going on and on to her about things. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's
you see,
terrible.
I sometimes wonder if like what you're talking about there is something I can completely relate to. It's like me with the if I lock the door and then I walk back to the house. Is that anxiety or is that stress? What is that? But the very very close. What's this?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. That's right.
Yes. Well done. Well done. I don't think you need to drink anyway when you're. Some people, though, I used to know. I remember my dad. My dad is still with me, by the way, so I've got to be very careful what I'm saying because he might clip me around the ear. But I remember when my dad was, we used to go out drinking together. And the trouble with my dad was, he was mad about rock and roll, right? And when a certain record come on, I think it was like Blue Suede Shoes, whatever it was, he used to go out and dance, right? And it used to stress me out because it was embarrassing looking at him dancing, right?
Mm.
And one day he said, "I tell you what, boy," he said, "I am better than you," right? And he used to stress me out week after week after week. And me and him had a competition one day. We had a band, and what it is, it's called. I don't know if you ever heard of it. It's called fast rock and roll,
Yeah.
where you dance and you're not allowed to give up, so they can play 3 or 4 songs, and by the end, you're soaked in.
Yeah.
And I tell you what, about the third one, I was there going, and everybody was clapping for him.
Yeah.
I'm young, I'm young, yeah. My dancing is like 50s on or whatever. Dancing and and they said, right, we've got to make a decision now, folks. Who the winner is? Oh, of course, they picked the old man, didn't they? You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah.
And
Now, what? Yeah, go on.
Go on, carry on.
No, you say what you're going to say because I'm going to.
Yeah,
going to sort of like pick it apart.
What I'm trying to say for that is because they picked that, I was thinking, hang on for a second. Quick, it's outside your house.
Ronnie Cray's outside.
No, but the trouble is, though, it was embarrassing because he used to kind of like beat me at every single little thing, even if it's darts, snooker, anything. And I used to get really stressed out of it. You know what I mean?
Right. What I was going to say is going back to what you've just spoke about there. You started off by saying your dad would do these things, how you get up and dance or what have you, and you would get stressed out. And I would imagine you were wanting the earth to perhaps open up when he was up there bopping or jiving to Hound Dog. And I think that's the thing to remember with situations like that, with stress. That's your stress. That's in your head. Nobody else is thinking it. Nobody else is looking at you or looking at your dad and thinking, my God, especially about you. You'll be thinking it's reflecting badly on you because it's your dad and all the rest of it. And you said yourself as you went further into the thing, you had your little competition, and he beat your hands down because but you also said that they loved him, and that I find is the key to stressful situations that we internalize. We're thinking that something's looking bad on us. And really, it isn't. Nobody cares that you've ripped your trousers in the pub, or your dad's a better dancer than you, or he's up there dancing to Blue Suede Shoes or Hound Dog or what have you. And I think that's the thing to try and remember. Nobody, because you're stressed. Or were you stressed because you knew he was better than you, or were you stressed about what people might think?
He's not better than me.
Is that what stressed you out? Because I got the impression it was about he was up there dancing in front. He didn't care. It was in front of a full room. What's that say there? Oh, it's gone. Yeah, that's checklists are important. We're dealing with things that are potentially stressful. Very important. No, I'm just going about like the stress thing. It's you. It's all. If you were getting stressed out, because put it this way, if I was in the pub with my dad and I was a younger man and he was up there dancing, I'd be stressed out because I'd be wanting the ground to open up. I'd be thinking, my God, and nobody's bothered. Nobody really cares. And it's that whole thing about that grounding yourself and working out what is the actual thing that you're bothered about? What is the thing that's really stressing you out? Because 9 times out of 10, it's probably nothing. I'm talking about in a situation like what you just discussed.
I don't do it though. If he goes out now and does it, it doesn't matter to me no more. I just let him get on with it, and I just fly to the loo and stay in the cubicle for about 20 odd minutes.
But is that because you felt a bit embarrassed by it, or because you? Yeah. Right. Well, there you go. Yeah, well, there you go. Then I was right to think that was what you were saying.
No, but I'm only joking. What I'm joking about is that if it happens now, I'm okay with it. I can kind of like act it. But
because what you've done is you've grounded yourself and you've accepted it, and you've probably told yourself, probably through the fact that he's beating your hands down, that people do like him doing it, and it probably doesn't seem like the unacceptable, devastating blow to your good name that what you originally thought it was. And that's really what you have to do, I think, with the little stresses in life.
Yeah. But trouble is, you know, I love him to bits. He's my dad, and you know, at the end of the day, you know, okay, you know, I'll give him that one because, you know, he is an old man. You know what I mean? So, and he just shows all the credit he can get for that. So, but all I can say now is, if he's listening now, probably is over there, that if it was any more rock and roll on, you know, I definitely won't win. So I'll give up my day job to him, and he can have it all. He can have all the successes and everything else like that.
Yeah, but save some for yourself. Have some successes.
I don't want any successes. All I got at the end of the day, as long as I got him, my wife, and my family, that's all.
Well, there you go then. That's, you know.
Yes, and my friend Mark Memphis, I don't mind.
That's of course.
Oh yeah, but we remind me, man. Yeah. You know, who's going to protect me from this horse's head?
Yes. Yeah. No, but seriously though, you know, it's nice.
It's not funny, is it? Right. Okay, folks. I hope that you enjoyed that. It's stressed out. You can get this on YouTube later on. Also, if you want to look back on it, then you can. It will be out there. And also, thank you very much to Mark Memphis. Take a bow.
Saddle up.
Yeah.
Rein it in, Steve. Rein it in.
Rein it in.
Let's have a clip, clop, clap for Steve.
Clip, clop, clap for Steve. Right.
Just kick your mules off.
Kick your mules off. Enough of your jokes. If you go into your private box, you'll see what I wrote there for you. In your private chat.
Yeah. Thank you, Steve.
That's all right. But anyway, just a couple of messages for him because he's winding me up. Anyway, nice ones. Anyway, folks, brilliant. I've got to trot. I've got to go. I just want to say trot.
Stay safe. Stay stable.
Yes, okay.
Till the next time.
Yes, bye. See you later, Mark.
See you later, Steve.
Good night. God bless.
Where's my hand? Bye.
Bye.
I'm off. Bye.
Bye.